What is up, YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be going through the ranking system the Chinese government uses to rank foreigners that come into work here. Based on where you fall in this ranking system, it could help or hurt you getting a work visa or even the mysterious green card that all my friends don't have, but they want. If you want to know where I pulled this information from, I put the website in the description down below. Just realize that it is in Chinese, so if you can't read Chinese, you may have to use Google Chrome to translate or Google Translate. Let's get started. So there are 3 categories for foreigners. Pretty easy. If you went to school, this will be pretty easy to follow. So there's A, B, C. The higher your grade, the better your category. So if you're an A-level foreigner, it kind of means you're top tier and your skill set's very unique and is needed in the country. If you're a B-level foreigner, it typically means you're like average, above average, and for C-level, like you just got out of high school. So I'm gonna break down each category and roughly what it takes to be in each category. Hopefully one day I'll be the A category, but I'm not there yet. So to be part of the A-level category, let me give you some examples that's in the regulations that I mentioned before. So you gotta be a top executive for a Fortune 500 company. So like CFO, CEO, COO, VP, somewhere around those levels where you're like executive level. And come to China and bring your work experience here to like develop the market. Or you can be a Nobel Peace Prize winner. I know that like it literally says that on the regulation. I'm like, how many Nobel Peace Prize winners are there in the world? Probably a lot, but how many come to China to work? You also gotta have a very unique skill set with many educational background experience, like multiple PhDs in a certain industry that is lacking in China. So let's say you're like an agricultural guru and you know how to bring up a farm or a remote mountainside location and build it into a city based on your agricultural or your business development experience, and you do that in China and you plan to do that in China, then you're more likely going to be considered part of the A category. And if you find a job in China where you're like VP level or executive level that pays you usually 80K or like 100K USD a year on a Chinese salary, you can also be considered part of the A category. The last thing is you need to score above an 85 or get an 85 in the ranking table, which I'll go through a little bit later in this video. That kind of specifies like your skill set, your education background, how well you speak Chinese, etc. Next, I'm going into the B categories, which is what the majority of expats fall into in China. It's pretty much somebody with 2 years work experience in a certain industry. The industry can involve marketing, selling stuff, teaching, international influence, whatever it may be. You need to have a bachelor's degree, and typically these jobs are more white collar, not so much blue collar like construction jobs, unless of course you're like an engineer, like a construction or civil engineer that can help out with the project. And you need to score above 60 points on the point scale. Then you go into the C workers, you guessed it, the lowest of the totem pole. And these are typically the workers that don't have many skills, but they can provide a lot of manual labor, like blue collar construction workers, people that deal with landscaping, like farmers. Or they can be part of the entertainment industry, like they're not so famous in their country, but they can sing and they have a band that they want to play in China, or they want to teach a certain dance like tango and they have that skill set but not a college degree, or they want to teach some kind of martial arts in China, something related to the entertainment industry. So I'm going to walk through some of the benefits of being an A-level foreigner just based on talking to other people that are a lot more skilled than me, and just give you some examples. You can get offered a green card like on the spot. So usually getting a green card may take between 4 to 5 years of living in China. But if you're someone like Elon Musk, like in this video, you can get offered a green card on the spot. And that kind of doesn't happen unless you're part of the A category and you're actually contributing to China and directly being involved in its development and its economy. Like Tesla is very popular in China and it's brought a lot of workers and a lot of business into China. So that's why he got offered a green card. Or if you are like a professional basketball player, like there was this one case where we had a basketball player, so he decided to play in China because he was still good and played for the national team. and he got offered a green card and got a green card immediately because he's playing for the national team and representing China. This can also be for being a coach in a professional national team. If you have that skill set, let's say you work in the European League, you can go ahead and teach soccer for the national team here, and they can offer you a green card there. Plus, getting the work visa and applying for your green card would be a lot easier if you're an A-skilled worker. And if you do apply for your visa for the first time as an A-skilled worker, you have more chances of it being a longer period of time that you can work here. Typically, if you're a B category foreigner, you got to renew your visa every year, but if you're an A level, you may extend it for 2 to 3 years. So next up, I'm going to break down an example of how you can find out what category you're in for like a typical person that comes here to work in China as an expat. It's not exactly my scenario, but it's pretty close. And then hopefully you guys can figure out your own grade or point system based on your situation and see if you want to work in China or come live in China.
So this is the chart right here. I'm just going to briefly go through it and then go through an example. On this column right here, it's pretty much the topic, and it tells you the maximum amount of points you can get, the threshold next to it. So you can see the threshold here is 20, 20, 20, 15. Here are the specific type of options that you may fall under. And then here are the specific points. If you fall, let's say, in this option, you get 11 points. So in this example, I'm going to pretend I'm somebody that makes 150,000 RMB a year, have a bachelor's degree, have 7 years of work experience. I work 10 months in a year. I have HSK4. I don't work in any poor or very rural areas. I'm 26 years old. I did graduate from an Ivy League school. I don't work for a Fortune 500 company. I don't have any patents. I haven't worked in China for more than 5 years. And then there is no demand for my specific skill set. So starting from the top, this option right here specifies, like I mentioned before, if you're like Elon Musk or some crazy technical person that your skill is just very unique and in demand, so you can skip this whole process and go straight to becoming an A category. So we're going to skip this. So this part is how much money you make a year. So as I mentioned before, 150,000 RMB a year. So this is 150,000, 250,000. So I'll get 11 points. Then the next is your highest diploma. So the lowest is going to be bachelor's degree here, then master's, then a doctorate. So I said bachelor's degree, I'm going to put 10 points. This is your work experience. So how this works is I have 7 years work experience in this example. So after 2 years work experience, you start with 5 points, and then you add a point for every year. So if I have 3 years work experience, I would have a total of 6 points. The maximum points I can get is 20 points. In this case, I have 7 years work experience with a total of 10 points. Then I'll go into the amount of time or the amount of months I work in a given year. So if you're a teacher and there's a lot of holidays, vacations like summer and Christmas vacation, you may fall into this category between 6 and 9 months in a year. But if you're like a typical 9 to 5 worker, you're more likely going to be within the more than 9 months in the year that you're working. In this case, I'm working 10 months per year. If you take away all the vacation time, so that's 15 points. Next, I'm going to go into the HSK level. I mentioned that I'm HSK4, which is 4 points. The difference between HSK5 and this is that if you have any higher certificate from HSK5, then you're pretty much either used to be Chinese or you are Chinese. You get a maximum of 5 points. But in this case, we only get 4 points. Next is if you live or work in like a poor area that needs a lot of development, you'll get 10 points of whether it's like the very western parts or the northwestern parts of China, you will get 10 points. Here's your age. So in this example, I said I'm 26 years old, so I'll get 15 points. Here it says if I graduated from Ivy League school. So I did graduate from Ivy League school in this example. So I'll get 5 points. I did not work for a Fortune 500 company. And I do not have any kind of special patents or worked in China for more than 5 years, so I'm not going to get any of these points. I'll just get this 5 points right here. And you can see you can get a maximum of 5 points. So let's say you did work for a Fortune 500 company and you got a diploma from a Ivy League school. You cannot get 10 points by adding these together. You can only get a maximum of 5. And this last section is kind of subjective. It's based on the demand for your skill set. So if you are in high demand and they don't have it in China, you may get closer to like 8, 9, 10 points. But if you're in very low demand and they have plenty of these kind of workers in China, you'd get lower points, like maybe 0, 1, 2, 3. In my example, I'm just going to go with 0 points. So if you add up all my points here, it equals to a total of 70 points, which would put me in the B category for this example. So you can kind of see how hard it is to get over 85 points or 85 points if you want to be an A category foreigner.
So that breaks it down for the different categories and the benefits of the categories in China as a foreigner. One day I'll reach that A-level foreigner, but right now I'm at a B. Okay, just give me some time and I'll get there. If you found value from this video, please smash that like button. If you plan on living or working in China, want to know what the lifestyle is here, consider subscribing to the channel because I post every week. And let me know what your score is as a foreigner in China down below in the comments. Anyways, I'll see you next time.